Previously on Sanctum Sanctorum podcast.
I totally disagree with that. You're wrong.
I'll say,
I totally disagree.
I'm not saying it's not a legacy movie.
What about it was bad? It's got something to say, it says it really well, and it still holds up 22 years later.
Well, I disagree with that.
In what possible way is it convoluted and ridiculous?
It was terrible.
I disagree. Don't even.
It's aged poorly.
I disagree.
But first, a word from our sponsor.
When you're hungry and you're thinking pizza, there's no better place to call than Pizza Time Pizza. When you absolutely need your delivery to be late and therefore free, we're the best place in the city. What makes us different is our unique staff of delivery drivers, all equipped with superpowers. And do they use them to deliver? They sure don't. Our staff are required to use broken down motorbikes and bungee cords in order to get you your order of mediocre food. And don't worry, we definitely make sure that no one steals a slice while tossing it in the air to stop criminals. Pizza Time Pizza, for when you're hungry and have absolutely no standards.
All right.
That was a little funny.
You're crapping on my movie.
Listen, Mr. Snyder cut streaming services and all that nonsense. I don't want to hear it.
Those are funny. It's good. I'll give you a Nicholson. That's great.
I'll take that.
All right.
Pizza Time has got to be the most memorable line from this.
Pizza time.
There are so many that popped in. I usually go, like anytime the kids are running late about something, I always yell at them, "Go!" And this is where it's
Go! Go! That's funny, yeah. Did you have any other? Because I only have one other thing. It's not even really an other. It's just like a shout out.
I have two others.
Okay. Well, I'll give you mine because there's two shout outs. Like many directors, Sam Raimi also likes to put his friends into his movies, and so loved seeing Bruce Campbell as the theater usher,
Lucy.
and Ted Raimi, his brother, as the kind of the gopher at the Daily Bugle. Those are always fun. Again, those are guys who have been in Darkman and The Evil Dead and Bubba Hotep and all the other Sam Raimi weird stuff. So fun to throw them in there.
Yep.
But that's all I got for other.
I have two others.
Hit me.
So my first other is the CGI. The helicopters at the end are horrendous. The Doc Ock arms, they're okay. But what I do like about his use of CGI is that he cuts to real action and real actors really quickly to remove the illusion. If you time it, like he cuts right away. He does this with the stunt where when he's losing his swinging ability, all of a sudden he falls out of the sky and he like destroys his head. There's no reason he should be alive, but he hits the side of a building and then he hits a dumpster and then he lands. Then the stunt guy lands, and it's CGI. I don't know if it was rotoscoped or what it was done, but literally 2 seconds go by. And then it cuts to Parker. It cuts to McGuire getting up. So your brain doesn't have time to actually make the connection that they're two different things. But if you're looking, it looks really bad. And the reason this is bad is because a year before we finished out the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, and I would agree that there are definitely moments where he, like you said, makes those quick cuts so that you don't see it as much. But the times that you do see it, like I said, that scene of Doc Ock on the train, I think like when he reaches in to like smash the brakes or something. it's like it went from actor, cartoon, and but I didn't notice it often. Uh, and I actually disagree about the arms. I think the arms are the most realistic looking of all the CGI stuff. I think the arms look the best, but that's just me.
When there's CGI, there is a combination. They actually use real puppets in that.
Hmm.
And so I think the combination of the realism and the CGI create the illusion really well. Whereas when you get to No Way Home, it's all just CGI. And that's my other. Um, we talked about what a compelling character and what a compelling job Alfred Molina does as Doc Ock. When you go back and watch No Way Home after watching this, there is such a stark difference in who the character is. Here he's an academic, he's a brilliant scientist, he's inspirational, he's a mentor, all of that. I felt like that just fell flat in No Way Home because now he's using these rhythmic puns for his vocabulary. He's the butt of a joke in that movie. Whereas here, and to be fair, you're afforded that luxury because he's done the groundwork in this movie of character development and, classic villainy. But the stark difference between the two films, I get there's 20 years, but it just kind of left No Way Home a bad taste in my mouth after watching this and falling in love with it all over again from the acting perspective.
Here's why I disagree with that, because you have to remember that within the story they're plucking these they're plucking these people from their universe, right, in the middle of their super villainy. So if you look at this, he was still if you look at Spider-Man 2, he was making puns sometimes, where like when he breaks in to the cafe where Peter and MJ are, and he's like, Peter Parker, and you got a girlfriend. Like, that's a little punny. Or even when he has a change of mind and Peter takes off his mask and he's like, Peter, you're Spider-Man. Brilliant but lazy. It's like those are punny things, and those are like super villainy kinds of things. So I think that, they enhanced it for the world that they brought Doc Ock into in regards to No Way Home. But I don't think that it was so problematic. I think it would have been more problematic if you saw that and never saw Spider-Man 2. But I don't know how many people, knowing that you were going to see Toby and Andrew reprise their Spider-Man roles, didn't go back and say, well, I better watch the Raimi trilogy and the Amazing Spider-Man duology so that I'm caught up on all those characters that we're about to revisit.
Yeah, I feel, and I can't find it, but I feel like there was a rhythmic rhyming that the No Way Home version attempted to do, and it stood out so much to me where I was just like, no, this does not work. I think I'll go back if I can find it, and I'll throw it in the edit. It's like right when he's trying to fix him in No Way Home, and he's like, get your peculiar, like he rhymes 3 P's in a row, and it happens like 2 or 3 times. And I just felt like, yeah, maybe that is the cartoon Doc Ock, but that's not Spider-Man 2 Doc Ock. Because Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2 was calm and cool and collected, and he knew who he was. With that, it's like, well, now you're just a caricature. All of that to say, whatever it was, I just felt that there was a disconnect of characters.
He was pulled into a different universe, so, I mean, I think it stands to reason he's going to be a little disoriented when it's like, this is Spider-Man and Peter Parker, but it's not my Spider-Man and Peter Parker. And I'm, still kind of being controlled by these arms. And here's this kid I've never met before. These other villains, Norman Osborn is supposed to be dead. Who are these other guys? So I feel like a little bit of grace for.
If that happened to you, would you just start rhyming?
Maybe.
Maybe. You've got pages of bad. Would you like me to go first with my bad?
I guess because I'll just piggyback on whatever you say and then carry on from there.
I got three things.
Let's go. This is the part I've been excited for.
Um, you're gonna talk about this, that there is no chemistry between any of these actors and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I know you're gonna go there, and you didn't tell me that, but I just know you. I agree with you. I feel like romance is used forcefully in this movie, and it is incredibly unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it makes no sense why Peter is trying to win back somebody who clearly was into him, but then he turned her down. That makes no sense.
Yes, it makes no sense. It's hugely problematic because MJ seems like she's manipulating things to get, have her cake and eat it too. So she's like, Peter, admit that you love me. Come see my play. I'm going to come to your birthday party and like super flirt with you. By the way, I'm seeing someone else. And apparently for long enough that he proposes to her. So this just seems like, and that's not to mention the complete lack of chemistry that Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst have as actors. That's not Tobey Maguire's fault. He's doing the best he can. Kirsten Dunst is just a terrible actor, number one. Number two, she's doing a terrible job with the not great material she's given, and she's also not Mary Jane. She doesn't look like Mary Jane. She doesn't sound like Mary Jane. She doesn't act like Mary Jane. Mary Jane in the comic books is beautiful, confident, assured of herself, takes charge when she needs to take charge. This Mary Jane is a wishy-washy and, oh, I need the approval of everyone around me to feel like a real person. No, not working. No, bad chemistry, bad characterization, bad. No, shame.
No, well, okay, I'll push back just a little bit. She is the only Mary Jane to have shown on screen the domestic unrest of her family life. So don't you think that as she's pursuing her career and pursuing relationships, she's going to find them in all the wrong spaces? She has no idea what a healthy relationship looks like. Don't you think that when Peter actually shows up and then pulls back on that, she's not going to know what to do with that? I'm not saying she acts well, but from a character perspective,
Okay, so Mary Jane did come from a broken home in the comics as well, but that spurred her on to become a more confident and like highly value relationships and to see the good in people and trust when people were being good to her. Like she didn't take anybody's crap because of that, but she messes around with John Jameson and Peter Parker and Harry Osborn and you know it's like just seeing what she can get from all these different guys, and it just and I feel like I sound like a misogynist right now, and I'm not. I just think that you take such a powerful woman in comics and you reduce her to manipulating the men around her so that she can feel good about herself. I think this is unfair to the character and should have been treated better.
I think it's a snapshot in the character's development because she's not that by the end of Spider-Man 3.
She's even worse.
Again, this is the long game of
She's
character.
even worse. She gets progressively worse.
Oh, we're not talking about 3 right now.
There is in all three movies, she is the worst part of all three.
Oh, I'd agree with that. No, Harry's the worst part of all 3.
No, because I like Harry in 1 better
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know how we got on that.
because we were talking about the chemistry and romance.
Oh, the romance. Yeah, that was bad. Okay. Second issue I have. It has to do with money. there's 2 things with money. All of May's problems get solved if Peter moves home.
We said the same thing.
Why was that not an option?
Also, can I just say, like, I'm not going to assume that Peter and Harry have that kind of relationship, I guess, but I feel like if I had if my best friend was not just had more money than me, but was rich, like stupid people rich, I wouldn't even ask for myself, but I would be like, listen, man,
Yeah.
can you float Aunt May for a little while because I can't afford to, and you have disposable income. Like, could you help her out? Like, she's an elderly woman, and she also helped raise you, and she loves you like her own. So that would be really cool if you would do that. Well, I would ask that. I would have no problem asking that. I don't understand why neither of them do. Why none of them do? Why doesn't Mary Jane, who grew up next door, go to Harry and be like, Harry, why haven't you offered to like? But why is Mary Jane? Why is Aunt May still paying a mortgage? Harry, just buy the house for her.
Could have been easy, but. And then that's May's money problems. What about Ox money's problems? I'll say that again. So that's May's money's problems. I can't say it. So that's May's money problems. But what about
May's
Ox
money
problems?
There you go.
He doesn't need money. Just steal the stuff. Why are you robbing the bank?
Yeah.
Like, we're not making online transactions here. So the whole bank robbery, and then you're like, okay, of all the banks in New York, it's the one where Peter and May are trying to make a loan?
Let me explain to you the issue that I have with Doc Ock's bank situation. Not only what you say makes perfect sense and is ridiculous, the thing that bothers me more than anything else, two things, one more than the other. There is no bank in the world whose vault is just right there out in the open for everyone to see. Number one. Number two, there are literal bags of gold coins sitting in that vault. The only thing that was missing was a friggin' dollar sign on the bag so that he could you be any more of a cartoon villain? Like, what bank is this that has doubloons? Does a pirate bank there? What is happening? And then he's just throwing bags of money at Spider-Man to as weapons, and nobody is rushing to like grab some of that gold. Crazy! What a crazy scene. Also, Joel McHale is the loan officer in that. What a fun little. I forgot he was in that.
Yep. All right. Last two things. So the ending motivation makes no sense for Ock. He needs tritium, so he goes and sees Harry. Harry says, I'll give you the tritium if you give me Spider-Man. Why? This isn't a negotiation. This is a robbery. Right? Like, if this doesn't happen, the only reason that Harry says you have to give me Spider-Man is so that Spider-Man is involved in the ending. Otherwise, he's not.
Yeah.
No sense. Last thing, and this is from me to you. Like, this is just advice. Okay? The best way to get someone's attention when you want to talk with them and when you haven't spoken to them in a long time, and the last time you spoke to them, you were pretty friendly, like all was okay. If you want to talk to that person, throw a car at them.
What would have happened if he threw that car and accidentally killed Peter?
Why are we throwing a car? What the heck?
And how did he know they were in that cafe? It's a while before he shows up.
He literally said to him right before he left,
"Don't hurt Peter!"
He says, don't hurt Peter. Oh, okay. Hold my beer. But that's the only bad things I have with this movie.
Can I go?
Whenever you're ready, sweetheart.
All right. Well, we kind of covered some of the bad things. I have my main issue is Kirsten Dunst. I just think she was completely wrong for this role. I think that she's just as bad as Katie Holmes in Batman Begin, if not more insufferable. Him losing his powers because of stress. So he has stress, so he can't, perform. Okay, I guess, but it's inconsistent. He doesn't lose all of his powers and he doesn't lose them all at once, which doesn't make any sense because so he loses his webbing, he loses his ability to stick to walls, but conveniently, I guess he still has his super strength and super durability because those falls that he takes would have killed a normal person. And all he did was like, oh, my back, oops, it hurts a little. Like, he would be dead several times over. So that just felt really inconsistent. Another inconsistency, which is unfortunate because it's such a hallmark of Spider-Man, is that he runs his mouth. He's very quippy. Everything is a joke. That's part of how he fights, is it gets people off their guard. He's not quippy in this. He doesn't make jokes. He doesn't insult the villain. He doesn't make cheesy humor references. And that's annoying because that's such a very specific hallmark of Spider-Man as a character. And it's unfortunate that they left that out there. The fusion thing. Okay. You wanna show off the fact that, Harry wants to show off the fact that he funded this big fusion experiment, and Ock wants to change the word with this fusion experiment. Excuse me, sir, you invented artificial intelligent limbs that can attach to the human brain so that you can control them. Not only that, but you invented a chip that prevents them from taking control of your mind and gives you complete constant control over them so long as that thing is always working. That's the scientific breakthrough. Why are we sleeping on that? That is not an everyday invention. So who gives a crap about this fusion thing? Do you know the scientific, medical, surgical, and precision applications that those claws have? The fact that they can do such precision work and such proficient work without being harmed by magnetism or heat or cold or all the things he mentions that they're not vulnerable to. That's incredible. Why are we just not amazed by that? Like, nobody in that room is like, did anybody else see these magic arms that he invented that he's just controlling with his brain? No, just me. I'm going to write a report on that instead, I think, because that's amazing.
A lot of that sounds really petty.
No, it's not really petty. These are major story problems, like things that like these. This makes no sense. So this is a writing problem. This is not a pettiness problem. Here's another issue with MJ. This is a major thing for me. So okay, you've given up on Peter. You're still kind of jerking him around a little bit here, but you're
Sure.
with this other guy. You're planning your wedding. You have, the Spider-Man kiss from the first movie is one of the most famous scenes in cinema, I think. And she's like, close your eyes. Let me do this incredible kiss I had with a superhero with you to see if there's a spark there the night before our wedding. Meanwhile, they've finished kissing, and he's like, wow, that was amazing. Like, I'm blown away. That was like the best kiss I've ever had. And she's like, well, it wasn't Spider Peter. Well, that is
She
such
doesn't
garbage.
know that. It's not garbage from that perspective. She has no idea that it's Peter, so it makes no sense why she would do that.
She knows. She says at the end of the movie, I think I've always known.
Nah, it's convenient. You did not know. If you did, you would have understood why you can't be together.
Regardless, even if she doesn't know the Spider-Man is Peter, the fact that she's testing out that kiss because of the kiss she had with some stranger dressed in a Spider-Man outfit is pretty questionable behavior and pretty crappy behavior.
There is that.
Peter doesn't have any real problems. He suffers from poor time management. You're always late to class. You can't get the pizza there on time. You show up late to your own birthday party. You never show up on time to the play.
No.
If you used your powers just one of those times, you would have no problem getting these places on time. You have no common sense and no time management. That's
No.
his biggest issue.
That's not an issue. No, because he is holding a secret identity, and he is being full-time, for lack of a better term, employees in multiple spaces. He's full-time Spider-Man, full-time Joe's Pizza Delivery, full-time student, full-time friend. Like, go ahead and try to show up to all of those things really well and just say, oh yeah, it's time management. It's not.
He has the benefit of being a superhero. He can get...
He does, but he doesn't abuse that. That's what makes him Peter.
Then he's an idiot because it's not...
No, then he's Stark.
Okay.
This is where the MCU completely blows when it comes to understanding who Peter Parker is. He is Peter Parker.
Okay, if you owned a fast car, okay, and you needed to get somewhere fast, but that fast car is really expensive on gas, would you not use it because, well, I own it and it's mine and it would do the job I needed to do,
Chris,
but it would be really
Chris,
irresponsible
do I really need to say
for me to waste the gas money on this car. Like, come on, that's ridiculous.
Do I really need to say with great power comes great responsibility?
Yeah, and you're responsible to the college you enrolled. You're responsible to the job that you have so that you can pay your bills because he is so behind on his rent. You're responsible to the people in your life that you've chosen to care about, like your aunt, your best friend, the girl you claim to be in love with. Those are not responsibilities.
Of all of those responsibilities, which one is getting the short end of the stick?
All of them.
Thank you.
Because
yes, all of them.
You're using your gift. You're not using your gift to its fullest potential.
No, he's using it exactly how he should. Every single one of them is getting the short end of the stick. Spider-Man is not being who Spider-Man fully should be. The relationships aren't fully who they are. He's failing in school. That's the point of the movie.
Spider-Man is the only one that gets his full attention. I completely disagree with that. He
doesn't get the full attention.
He takes plenty of time to pose for the camera shots for himself, which is another.
So he can buy food.
Exactly. But that's a freelancing job. That's an inconsistent paycheck. So why would you not use your powers to consistently deliver pizzas so that you could make a steady paycheck to help your struggling aunt? There is priorities. It even says,
sure, there's priorities, but what you're suggesting is that if only he could figure out his timing, then everything would just fall into place.
I'm not saying everything would fall into place, but his major issue is time management.
And once he puts Spider-Man away, then he's good.
His biggest problem is time management. Yeah, but no, he's not good because there's still terrible things happening around the city.
But it's not his responsibility, according to you.
I didn't say that it wasn't his responsibility. I just said his priorities. He could do all those things if he used his powers for all those things. Superman does that.
No, he can't because then he would because then he would betray his secret identity. Then, like was said 15 times in this film, the people, his enemies, would know about the relationship and use it against him and all of that.
He's got one enemy per movie
that he knows of,
and they die at the end of each one. That's a cop-out reason. I think time management is his biggest issue.
We're going to disagree, but time management is not the silver bullet that fixes the plot.
I didn't say it fixes everything, but it is a majorly contributing factor. But that aside, Peter giving up Spider-Man, that whole scene is corny. That whole scene really takes you emotionally out of it. That is a major moment in the comics. Spider-Man No More is the name of that issue where Peter Parker gives up the Spider-Man suit. And they did a great job paying
that's why they said homage. No more.
They did a great job paying homage to the cover with the Spider-Man suit in the garbage can walking away.
It's perfect.
That was great. But then the needle drop is raindrops keep falling on my head. He watches police cars go by and tries to down an entire hot dog for no reason. It shows, so as soon as he gives up Spider-Man, everything in his life falls to place because he becomes someone that doesn't care about anyone but himself.
No.
And they make light of it. It doesn't even seem like it's a struggle for him.
No, it looks like a complete struggle. It's the whole hot dog scene is the struggle. What are you talking about?
Somebody without superpowers would have gone in that alley and helped that kid. You have two guys mugging him, and he just looks and turns away. Like, they probably killed that guy. That is...
I agree on
insane.
that, but
That whole scene is so emotionally nothing. It doesn't exist. It's a
okay.
crazy scene.
The reason that scene works for me, clearly it doesn't work for you, but the reason it works for me is because there are two parts of the Spider-Man persona. There's Spider-Man and there's Peter Parker. And so him struggling with the no more aspect and then getting that iconic scene, like you're like, man, he just walked away. That was really hard for him. He's struggling. He basically killed the part of Ben that was still connected to the responsibility aspect of everything. And then boom, raindrops keep falling on my head. That's a Raimi move, right? Like I'll give you that. That's a Raimi move to just be like, okay, here's humor. So you don't get to sit in it very long, but you're switching personas. You're moving from Spider-Man to Parker. And he's not doing it very well because he's never had to do it up until this point. He's never just been Peter.
He was Peter his whole life until he was
We
bitten.
have only known him as the two, right? The character is both. And so now we're shifting to the other. There is no, like, you know, when you watch Batman, you get Batman because he's in the cape. And then you get Bruce Wayne because he's very much Bruce Wayne doing Bruce Wayne things. Peter is always Peter, even in the suit. There's no separation. So the fact that we make that separation into raindrops keep falling on my head, that to me is a tonal shift. It is a responsibility shift. It is the clear denotion of the second act of the movie. I think it works.
I think it's done pretty terribly.
Well,
I think it's done really terribly. Yeah, I don't care for it even a little bit.
I don't care for you. That's not true. How much more bad stuff can you possibly have?
Plenty.
You're just nitpicking at this point.
I'm gonna roll through it. The payphone scene is really weird when he's talking to no one. That's a poorly directed scene. Aunt May being kidnapped, she would be dead.
Yep.
That whole scene is crazy. It's a ridiculous scene.
You do realize we're watching a movie about a guy being bit by a spider?
Yeah, and come on.
Just
Aunt May went into the hospital in the first movie because Green Goblin broke in and just scared her a little.
he blew up her
She was
house.
on the top of a New York City skyscraper. She somehow hangs on from her umbrella. Well, how much upper body strength can she possibly have?
Shame on you.
All of that is stupid. The non-action scenes are boring. The reactor is inconsistent. Is it a strong magnetic pull or it's not? Because it's pulling things from the middle of the city. You see cars and lampposts and stuff moving, but that whole building is still intact that it's in on the docks. That doesn't make any sense. That's crazy. Jumping off the building to test if his powers came back. There wasn't another way you could test that. You had to go right, because what if they didn't?
Well, clearly they didn't.
And they didn't. And why is he still alive? No broken bones, no anything. Again, the inconsistency with losing his powers.
Because he needs to be.
The scene that you said is so good when they're in the hospital and they're removing the things. The doctor's fingernails making scraping gouges in the metal floor.
Dude, you like horror movies way more than I do. And I can tell you right off the bat that is not the most ludicrous horror thing I have ever seen.
No, but it's ludicrous for this movie.
Because you want it to be. Not because it is.
Because it is. I'm just saying what is, not what I want it to be. I wanted it to be a better movie.
No.
The non-action.
This coming from the guy who gave Suicide Squad almost a Conroy.
Yes, this is a better. That's a better movie than this because it's consistent with what it is. The giant web at the end that he very weirdly crawls on to get to her, like that's another weird thing, and nobody seems to notice it.
What do they when they leave the sinking building or whatever it is? What is he swinging from?
Yeah, that happens numerous times. Well, what is the web attached to?
I said a crane.
That's kind of a Spider-Man movie problem, though. That's not necessarily specific to this one.
That's fine.
I have two things written here. Oh, when Mary Jane is listing off the people that came to see the play, she's like, Harry's seen it twice. John has come 8 times. My mother, Aunt May, blah, 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 blah. But my best friend can't make it. When did we establish you were best friends? When has that ever been established? That has never been a thing. That's insane.
You're petty.
I'm not. This is bad writing. This is bad editing. This is bad material that you're putting in your movie. It's not petty. It's inconsistent and problematic because it makes what should be a really great story something really ridiculous.
And your last thing?
My last thing I will say is a little petty, but only because it doesn't make any sense. How does Otto has these legs now, and I get that it has altered his mind. How is he surviving a punch from Spider-Man? Spider-Man punches him in the face several times, and it doesn't even phase him. That doesn't make any sense because physically, Otto is just a regular guy. Not only a regular guy, he's kind of an older, kind of flubby guy.
Fusion.
Like
Science.
OMG biology? Like what is that?
OMG octopus.
This is my real last thing. I understand Otto's motivations, kind of. I understand he was a little crazy. But again, kind of akin to like, don't hurt Peter. Okay, I'll just throw a car through the restaurant he's sitting in with no regard for the safety of anyone. But bring me Spider-Man or I'll peel the flesh from her bones.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we turn that amp up to 11 real
What a
fast.
line.
That's crazy. This whole thing is crazy. This whole movie is wacky. I kind of want to change my rating
A little higher, right?
to much lower. Do we have anything below Clooney?
No. Because this ain't that. Spiritual stuff. I'll go first.
Go ahead. I got something.
Me too. And it happened on the train scene. All right. So one of the most overlooked spiritual moments in this movie does not involve the villain. It's not a monologue. It's not the power surge. It happens after Peter collapses on the train. So he does everything he can. He runs, he fights, he holds the line until there's absolutely nothing left, and then he falls. And the defining moment isn't that he stood strong, it's that he couldn't stand anymore. And what happens after that? That's when the crowd steps in. Strangers lift him up, and they physically carry what he can't carry anymore. But they see his face and his vulnerability, and they make some great lines. He's just a kid. He's younger than my son. And instead of exploiting that, they protect it. I love the line from the kid that he says, "We won't tell anybody." The city now becomes a shelter. The thing that he's been protecting is actually protecting him. Mm-hmm. And it's not a threat anymore. It's a personified protection. And that just spoke to me spiritually. Like that's a picture of how God designed us to walk in our callings. You know, we often imagine that faith is this solitary heroism thing that is just me and God, and you know, I grit and bear it, and I obey, and it's just willpower. But you know, Scripture shows us that the church is not a stadium of spectators just watching. It's a body that when one part collapses, the rest of it compensates. Burdens are shared. People respond to things. Weakness is not punished. It's actually covered. And sadly, I'll be the first to admit this, a lot of us have not experienced that. There is this almost this quiet rebuke that kind of comes from modern discipleship. Like we kind of celebrate this endurance, but we kind of look down on dependence. We praise those who power through, but we quietly sideline those who need help as though they're less. And I felt like this movie kind of reminded us that even the faithful, even the called, even the heroes, they have moments where you can't stand alone, and you're actually not supposed to. That doesn't disqualify you. That just makes you human. Again, this is a deeply human movie. And I think that the crowd does not replace Peter's calling as Spider-Man. It actually sustains him long enough when he's weak so he can return to it. And that, to me, was just a picture of something that we're a part of, something that constantly needs work because, again, we're human and we don't do it very well all the time. But even in this human experience, in this human experiment, we can bear each other's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ.
That was good.
So
So for me, as much as I didn't like how they did it in this, the thing that really spoke to me is the responsibility that Peter takes when he realizes that he can't just think about himself. That what matters is these gifts that he's been given and what he does with them. You know, God calls us to die to self, which, you know, yeah, it's something we hear a lot when, especially if you've grown up in the church, you hear, you know, die to self a lot in youth group, especially. But really, all that means is to put aside your personal needs for what God has called you to do. Put aside the things that you want and allow God to use what He needs to use you for. In Matthew 16, it says, "Deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me." Philippians 2 3 to 4 says, "Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others as more significant than yourself." You know, Peter realizes that, you know, I spend time only thinking about others. Now it's time for me to think about myself. And it wasn't giving him the fulfillment that he thought it would. And he realized that, you know, I've been given these powers, I've been given this sense of responsibility from the person I care most about in the world. And it's time that, you know, with or without powers, I need to do what's right. And what's right is to stand in the place of those who can't and to protect those who can't protect themselves. Now, it for him, it's something that works out to a degree. You know, there are things that he's able to get in his life, um, even though he's making the self-sacrificing choice. That's not always going to happen. Just because you give up on the things you want doesn't mean that God is going to give you those things because you made a good choice. But what that means is that maybe those weren't meant to be for you right now or at all. But the point is that if you choose to live for Christ, if you choose to say, you know, I want to pick up my cross and I want to follow, I'm going to drop my nets and I want to follow, that means that the things that you want and the things that you feel like you deserve need to take a back seat to wherever God may be calling you to do. And it may be not what you expect. It may not be what you want. You may not even like it, but sometimes that's where you need to be. And, you know, sometimes those reasons will reveal themselves later, or it's something you can look back on and be like, you know, at the time that sucked, but I know why I went through it was to get me to here. I've had that, and I know you've had that of like being in a situation, being like, why am I being punished like this? And then later looking back, being like, that was why it felt like I was being punished because I can do this now, or I'm like this now. I can help this person now in a way I couldn't have without going through that. So for me, that was the most striking thing about that whole idea is that, you know, he got rid of it, followed his own selfish needs, and then realized this isn't right. Like I can't be happy doing this. I'm not going to be satisfied doing this. I need to put aside what I want for what's better for the people around me. So that was something that really stood out to me with that.
in a flawless film,
Which movie is that? Did you watch something else?
let's rate it.
Let's rate it. You know what? I'm changing my rating um, because in talking about this, it just I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to rate it because I have it down as one thing and I think it should be lower, but I don't think it can go lower. I'm going to reluctantly give it a Pattinson. It's not as bad as a Clooney, and it's not forgettable in the way that a Kilmer would be, but it's Pattinson, I think, is being too generous, to be honest. I wish there was one notch lower because that's what I would put it as. I
You
just,
could give it a minus.
yeah, but that still isn't enough. It needs a whole character lower.
Ah,
I don't know. It just didn't age well for me. It didn't have the same oomph, and I think that Holland's Spider-Man is a vast improvement.
Oh, he's the worst.
Disagree.
Let's
And
talk about
when we
that in
start
just a
doing his
minute.
movies, we'll see.
Ugh. Anyway,
You're ugh.
what did I rate this? This is a Conroy.
Shut the hell up. Seriously?
This is a great film. This is not only the best Spider-Man movie, not only one of the best Marvel movies. This is one of my favorite movies. I will watch this every year. I think it's incredible. I think it's well paced. I know you think I'm insane.
I mean, there's no accounting for taste. Look, I'm not gonna yuck. I'm not gonna yuck anybody's yums. And your favorite movies and movies you love are the movies you love, and that's totally fine.
Sure.
I just feel like I don't know how you can hype this movie so hard when there's.
You don't have No Way Home without this movie. You just don't.
Yeah, well, you also don't have No Way Home without. You don't have any of the Spider-Man movies really without the Raimi trilogy. Again, I am not denying its impact.
There you go.
But you know what? I feel the same way about the Beatles. I don't like the Beatles. I think the Beatles are overrated. I could care less about them as a band. I understand the impact they had on music. I understand the impact they had on songwriting. I understand the impact they had on pop culture as a whole. That doesn't mean that it's enjoyable for me to listen to, really. You can respect the impact of something or someone or whatever without feeling the need to praise it for being the greatest thing ever just because it was impactful. Plenty of things are negatively impactful.
True, but this ain't one of them. So, I gave it a Conroy.
Well, I feel like most people will probably agree with you, but my goal here was to give a voice to the people that were too afraid to speak up. But you know what? I see you. I hear you. You don't have to like this movie just because the masses tell you that you should.
Yeah, and you don't have to hate it just because Chris is wrong.
Well, that's exactly why you should hate
But
it, because I'm not wrong.
Let us know what you think in the comments. YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Let us know what you think about Spider-Man 2. We've talked for a while.
Absolutely.
And thank you for sticking it out.
We got to get out of here because my electronics are about to fail me. And this has been like 2 hours of show. So we're going to get out of here.
Two great hours.
Remember, kids, when in doubt, pizza time. See ya.
Do you know why Holland is not a good Spider-Man?
I think he's the best Spider-Man, but why do you think incorrectly?
You think he's the best Spider-Man because he's the youngest Spider-Man.
That's certainly a factor.
Okay, great. We finally did our job. Great. He's the youngest. He's not a good Spider-Man because all he cares about is Stark. Everything about his trilogy is Stark, which is just MCU classic. We don't trust this character.
But also,
everything comes back to our homeboy. Everything comes back. It's why he's Doom.
All other Spider-Man care about was Uncle Ben. Stark is really just this version of Spider-Man.
Uncle Ben's part of the character.
But he's the stand-in for Uncle Ben in this because you didn't do the origin again, thankfully.
But Holland in particular, Homecoming is all about impressing Mr. Stark. Civil War, it's all about impressing Mr. Stark. Far From Home, oh, Mr. Stark's gone. Boo-hoo, we're sad. Number 3, it's not Holland by himself. What are we doing? We're actually shoving 2 other supports of other franchises to make sure that we get the Holland experience. They don't trust him at all. And so he's not a good Spider-Man.
Well, we'll see what they do with Brand New Day, but I disagree. I think that...
even look at Brand New Day. Who's in Brand New Day?
I'm not even sure offhand.
The Punisher. And the Hulk. And Matt Murdock. He never has a movie by himself.
That's an MCU problem. That's not a Spider-Man problem. That's not a Tom Holland problem. That's an MCU problem. They want to put all their characters in all their movies so that nobody has a true solo outing. Because they do that with the TV. They do that with the TV shows too. Daredevil had to have Punisher put in his movie. She-Hulk had to have Daredevil put in her show. Hawkeye had to have The Kate Bishop put in his movie, and had to have Kingpin put in his show. So they don't know how to let characters breathe on their own.
Yeah. And if there's one character who can handle a solo outing just by themselves, it's Spider-Man.
You're right, but not with the way that they do movies now, because not all of those movies are interconnected. It's never going to happen now.
And that's is why the Raimi verse stands alone, because he doesn't need anybody else, and it works.
Nah, I think it's weak sauce.
You know what I'll say to that?
It doesn't age as good as you claim it does.
What I will say to that is, look out!